Venus in the sixth house. So these people are all the opposite of Venus in the 12th house. So they are very much in this like very moment, in this reality, very practical, very realistic when it comes to relationships. Some key words when it comes to Venus in the sixth house are reliability, helpfulness, usefulness, control, dedication, self-improvement, routines. I think that's about it. I think that's the most important ones for Venus in the sixth house, because the sixth house revolves first of all, around our health, our physical body, but also about like the small things in life, like enjoying the small things in life. This is Venus in the sixth house. Venus sixth house people are people that don't have like huge ideals or need huge romance. They just enjoy the simplicity of life, like having a morning coffee or, I don't know, doing the wash up together, doing the shopping together. For them, relationship is, sharing the daily life. But first, let's go back to how others see Venus in the sixth house. Well, these guys always appear very professional, and very under control, like they got everything sorted out. They are very practical, they are very organized, and they make really great friends because they're so responsible and they're so helpful, and they will always be there for you. They will never forget about an appointment. They will never forget about something they promised. So people really appreciate that about them. Sometimes they can appear to be a little too rigid, because they have their rules by which they play and their routines and structures by which their day and their life needs to go, and they don't like to deviate away from that at all. Um, and sometimes that makes them also a little like high strung and nervous. They're not like very relaxed because they need to feel like they've got stuff under control and they've got everything, everything is going according to plan. That seems to be super important to Venus in the sixth house. But apart from that, they just really appear very, very humble, to others, because they have this need to be useful and to be helpful, and it makes them kind of, subservient. They're always looking out for other people. And yeah, how they see themselves, well, they are perfectionists. So how they will see themselves is forever imperfect, especially on the physical level, because Venus is about beauty. So Venus in the sixth house people, they might do a lot of things for their beauty, for their health, like a lot of really strict daily routines, like taking their supplements, having a really strict diet, being vegan, working out regularly. They might be really strict on all of that, but they will still never feel quite good enough. Yeah, so they're always aware of their shortcomings rather than being really proud of what they achieved. So they are not, the people with the greatest self-confidence, but they are really, really good friends, really reliable. They are always trying to help. They're always trying to make their own and everybody's life better, but this is just one aspect of the Venus in the sixth house that just is like that. In their look, for example, they are very simple and clean. They're not very like extravagant with their like expression, like their style or generally, their makeup or anything. They're more like simple and clean, but very, taken care of. You will see that everything is in its right place. Every hair is in its right place. Everything is like very, very organized. Very organized about them. Their clothes will always be ironed and that kind of stuff. So when it comes to relationship, okay, these people, like I said, like to have things under control. They like to have things planned out. So it is exactly the same way with relationships. They're very pragmatic when it comes to relationships. They just don't get carried away at all with like any kind of emotions. They might take a very long time to assess their partner and see if they are good or suitable for a long-term relationship or a romance. They are just not very much into that, fifth house kind of stuff, this passion and short-sighted romances. They are very, long-sighted, let's say. Because the sixth house is also the house between the fifth and the seventh, and the fifth house is all about, passion and romance. The seventh house is about deep committed partnership. And the sixth house is actually the house of compatibility. This is the house where we get the reality check to find out if our romance has what it takes in order to proceed to the seventh house, to like a real partnership. So the questions that a sixth house Venus always asks themselves is like, how can I integrate this person into my life? How do our schedules match? Do we have the same hobbies? Like, do we have the same lifestyles? Like, do we both like to do sports regularly? Does he eat vegan like me? And if not, how does that influence my life? So Venus in the sixth house people really, really take their time in order to assess if a partnership is worth pursuing or not. They come into a partnership or into like an encounter with another person with pretty high expectations, because that's just how they are, because they are perfectionists. So they, even with themselves but also with other people, they kind of expect a lot, and they have usually they have like a checklist of things that they want their partner to have, so they're not very relaxed about making these decisions at all. And since they are all about self-improvement, they want their relationship too to be about self-improvement. So Venus in the sixth house people, they put a lot of energy into organizing their daily lives in an impeccable manner, and they have no issue following up on those structures that they set for themselves, like getting up extra early every morning to jog before work and prepare their healthy smoothie, and they always run all the errands in time, and they just enjoy this feeling of control that it gives them, to see their life running smoothly on a practical organizational level. So what they will never appreciate is anybody bringing mess into their life or into their routine, right? And they're very direct and very honest when it comes to telling you what they think. So yeah, if you like start messing up their life, they will let you know immediately that they do not appreciate that. But however, they are very tolerant. So they might, tolerate you being fuzzy and messy at first, but actually only in order to try and fix you. Because that's another thing with people with Venus in the sixth house. They love fixing stuff, like they love making stuff perfect, improving stuff, fixing people basically. So them not criticizing you at the very beginning, like, don't take it as them accepting you the way that you are, because that's not what it is. They are just like kind of tolerant in the beginning, giving you little hints, but they actually only took you on as a project that they are trying to, fix, and you can become a successful project or a failure. But they will definitely put in the work. These guys, they never shy away from putting in the work. So, meaning they will start to give you constructive advice in how to become a better person, how to be more organized, how to be more like them or like their ideal, basically. And if you don't support their trials to sort you out, or to, if you don't take responsibility for your mistakes or for whatever they consider being dysfunctional about you, they will probably put you off as a failed project, That said, they have a really hard time letting go of things, because they don't like losing. They don't like admitting to themselves that they didn't manage to sort something out. So that very characteristic makes them very loyal. They stick to something. Like, if you went through all of the procedure of being chosen and they actually commit to you, they will probably not leave. These guys are persistent and put in so much work in trying to sort things out. They don't shy away from work. They don't expect their relationship to be all nice and all romantic. They don't actually expect anything. They're so humble, and they really don't expect things to work out. But they expect you to try and work on stuff, because they are consistently working on stuff, like improving stuff in their own life. And obviously nobody can treat another person better than they treat themselves, and how they treat themselves is, as if they are imperfect and they constantly need improvement. So if you get with somebody in the Venus in the sixth house, you have to acknowledge that they want a relationship of growth. This is what relationships are for them, helping each other to constantly improve. So if you are more looking for a relationship that is comfortable, that where people will just leave you alone, and everybody, is acceptant of each other, doesn't try to change each other, and just, like cuddle together, exchange love. This is more like a fourth house Venus, they are all acceptant and appreciative of anything. They don't care. They have this mothering energy. But this is not the energy of the sixth house, right? So this is not a relationship that will leave you in your comfort zone. It's a relationship that will constantly be taking you out of your comfort zone, because these guys don't live in their comfort zone. They're constantly improving. They're constantly trying to become better. So this is a feeling that they bring into the relationship and they bring to you. And if you are not on that path, then they might not leave, but their piercing criticism might increase with time until you just can't stand it anymore and you leave. Because they are very honest and direct. They will not keep quiet about things for too long. So yeah, I mean, this relationship with a Venus in the sixth house for you has to be about self-development. Otherwise, you will just find their behavior really annoying and, too rigid or unnecessarily, controlling or whatever. Yeah, basically, they will keep comparing themselves and you against the standards of perfection that they have in their head. If you're open to improving, like to working on yourself, they will be the best partner ever, because they are really dedicated to their partnership. They will do everything and anything for you, like in your life, to improve your life. They want to be of service. They want to be helpful. They want to be useful. So they are really dedicated and really subservient to their partner. They will try to make your life the best life possible. If you want to get a Venus in the sixth house, well, first of all, you gotta understand the way that they display their love, which is with practicalities, because they're all about practicalities. So they display their love with going out of their way to do things for you, like daily things, like making you a breakfast or cleaning up after you, or reminding you of your appointments, running your errands. These are always how they show you they care. Because love for them is, caring that someone's life is running smoothly and alleviating pressure from another person. So obviously, if you want them to feel loved or to get interested in you, you have to do the same thing for them. They will be thrilled if anyone comes and takes some responsibility off them and does stuff for them, because usually they come off as having everything under control and being really good, being really sorted out in their life, but actually they're under so much stress because they're constantly trying to get everything organized. So taking control for them is a game changer for them, because not many people do it for them. This will literally make a Venus in the sixth house love you forever. I would first suggest you find out everything about their daily routines, and then you try to integrate yourself into their daily routine. So if they do a morning jog every day, you try to, do that morning jog with them. When they need to go to IKEA and buy something, you're like, okay, let's go and let's buy something together. Let me build your shelf, Involve them, get involved in their daily tasks, and make them feel like you are of use and like you want to help them and getting their life sorted. That will really make them feel like, wow, this person really makes a positive change to my life, and it's worthy considering this as a more serious thing, as a more serious relationship. So yeah, also obviously get an idea of their daily tasks and try to do some of them for you, some of those for them, I don't know, wash their dishes, clean their car before they get home, observe how they make their smoothie and then make it for them, but do make it exactly the same way they made it, because these people are not very flexible, they like things done exactly the way they do it. And if they realize that you are paying attention to detail, this is a big plus, because it makes them trust you and open up to you. So yeah, just understand that for them, relationship is sharing life and responsibility on a daily basis. They want to get a feeling that this works out, our lives are compatible with each other, and this is usually the only thing that makes them open up to a real relationship, feeling this real life practical compatibility. So if you don't have long-term intentions with them, probably it will not work out. You know, it will be very hard to convince them for a one night stand or something similar. They're even probably not interested in people who live in a different city because they wouldn't be able to share their life with that person. They are not interested in romance. They're interested in sharing their life on a daily basis with somebody. And somebody who is very different from them is not even a consideration. Like if they are very health conscious and vegan, for example, and you just party and drink a lot, you're out of the game. Like they won't consider you, you know. So yeah, just try to see if there is some real life compatibility, because these guys are not interested in anything less than something more serious and practical and long term.